Buenos Dias Gunners Collective. You already know. Back at it like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Like a motherfucking smack at it. Bye-ya. Bye-ya. Yes, indeed, I write graffiti on buses. As you can tell by that thumbnail right there, perros. We're going to get straight into it. Now, I wanted to talk about, with all this turmoil going on, with all this he said, she said, well, now I said, in a menudo style, in a direct fashion, exactly what's taking place. Are the Bulldogs, the Fresno F-14 Bulldogs, Spencer, no longer F-14 Bulldogs, I'm from the old school, 90s. The Fresno Bulldogs, will they ever, and I said ever, go back into the fold with the Norteno cause? Now, there's a big debate. There's a lot of people that have been telling me in the feds, it's slowly going that route. I do know in certain places, the Bulldogs do rock with Norteños. Yes, indubitably, you heard it here first. There are certain places where they rock simultaneously together. Now, you got to understand the Bulldog faction in itself, man, is independent, meaning they could do whatever the fuck they want to do anytime they want to do it, however they want to do it. They just put the pulse to the ground and, pow, wow, wow, yippee, yo, yippee, what? If we want to come back, homie, that's our shit. You know what I mean? That's up to them. That's up to them. But at the same time, there's a lot of young perros that are against that. They're against that because that's what they've been taught. That's what they've been indoctrinated with, that the Norteño movement is their enemiga, is their sworn enemy. And there's reasons for that. And I understand it. Sasuke, I understand it more than most. Reason being, I was around, I was functioning actively as a Norteño when the Bulldogs, yes, Simon, cabrones, menudo, the Bulldogs were also Norteños. So I have a lot of love for the perros. And people always tell me, hey, Gun, Sasuke, you show a lot of love for Fresno, man. You got, yes, I do. Simon, I do. There's a reason for that. The reason for that is, I've always had friends from the Fresno area. I've always had perros, yes, dogs, homes, that I've rocked with. Maybe not way out there on Front Street, Sasuke, but in the back streets, Simon, in the dark alleys. Yeah, man, I rocked with the perros, man. I got love for them because I know what they're about. I know they're a dangerous, vicious group that is well respectable. No matter where they go, they're respected. Regardless of what you may think, Sasuke, I know what I know. And I know they ain't no punks. The P word, unless it's Pleasant Street, has never been involved with their name. Now, I will say this. The younger generation is different. You know, they're laced different. They're not laced worse or better. They're just laced to know that the Bulldogs, I'm speaking on the Norteño behalf, the Bulldogs are the enemiga and vice versa. Of course, the Bulldogs are raised the same way. I say raised. Homes, you're raised out there on the guys. You're in them streets pushing. So I was scared the homeboys will raise you to be a perro and a big dog or to be puppy child. It's either way. It goes either way, man, depending upon your ability to perform the acts that are fucking asked of you. Now, I will say this. I've been hearing a lot of rumors that the Bulldogs are in talks to come back into the fold of the Norteño cause. Do I dispel rumors? Charlie Holmes. I don't know. I can't call it like an alcoholic, but what I do know, yeah, fill me up. I'll take a dub. What I do know is that it's possible. It's possible with everything that's going on right now, you know, with the union of the Norteños, Sureños, as well as sprinkling the white guys, coming together to do this active, non-active pleito, this guerra, this war. You know, the Bulldogs are going to be on the outside looking in, meaning they're going to be a target. You know, they're going to be a big target. That's why people are making videos talking about the Bulldogs this, the Bulldogs that, what's going to happen with them. Every other group, they're like, Sasuke, you already know what time it is with them. You already know the actives are going to get off on non-actives. But let's dispel everything right now. The Bulldogs have always been fully activated. Dun, 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 Sasuke. They're active and they function. You already know what it is. They've always been with the business. They've just been segregated by CDC. So now there has been talks. Yes, I'm here to tell you. The Norteños and the Bulldogs have sat at a table and they've talked about it. And it's always been talks that have gone on ever since the defection, ever since the Bulldogs stepped away from the mesa, stepped away from the cause. There was always rumors flying. You know, I remember when it first happened, and I'll tell you here first, man, when I was handed that wheel and I read it and I suspense on la tira, right? And then, of course, flights was taken and everybody was going at it like a motherfucking bad habit. It was ugly. But I always had love in my heart, and I've talked to a lot of perros that felt the same way. Do you think it was easy for them to walk away? Charlie, Holmes. You know, when you got fucking Huelga birds on you in Norte, and there was a lot of Bulldogs back then with F-14ers on their fucking chin. So, mira, ese F-14 the world, right? There was a lot of guys like that. It was a very sticky and hard situation for them to do that. But of course, in the gang life, man, politics rule all. And you have to do what the big homies say you have to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's just the way it's going to be. That's the way it's always been. And so the Vatos did what they had to do. But at the same time, there was a lot of animosity going on between the Perro car, where some of them were fighting the feeling. Fight the feeling. Oh, too short. There was a lot of people that were fighting the feeling. They didn't ask to kiss. They didn't have to fuck. See, they put out the people. You know what I mean? They were down for whatever they were down for. But at the same time, man, ultimately, bigger heads prevailed, and they were told to walk away, and they did just that. Now, of course, Norteños were furious, mad. Why? Mad and sad. And I'll tell you the reason why we're mad. Sasuke, oh, you're going to turn your back on us? Right? At the same time, we were sad because a lot of us lost a lot of good camaradas, a lot of good cellies, a lot of good homeboys that we rocked with for several years. Me being one of them, man, I lost a lot of good homeboys. And I'm going to tell you guys something here first. Something I never spoke on Gunners Collective. Here you go. Breaking news, right? When this happened, I ended up going to the Oyo. I got into a fucking fight. I forget with who, man. It was so long ago, 30 plus years ago. But I fought somebody, and I found myself in the caja, in the box, right? And there were several perros in the hole. And I remember, man, I was getting that K9 Joey Boy and a couple other Danny Boy, a couple other well-known perros at that time. And they shot me a huila. They shot me a missive. They're like, hey, we got a one-time coming down for you. I shot out my fishing line. Simone, we were fishing back then. I shot my fishing line. We hooked up. So I was scared the hookup was real. And I pulled in a sopa bag. And inside that sopa bag was a missive, a paloma, a huila, whatever you want to call it, a cana. And I read it. And it said, hey, man, you're a highly aggressive individual, man. We know you pose a potential threat to the safety and security of what we got going on because you're relentless. And they were absolutely right. I was relentless. And I had verbalage back then. I had good verbal skills. I was able to get in homeboys' ears like, fuck these fucking vatos, right? And pump the shit up. That's the type of person I was. But I wasn't the type to pump it up and then sit on back while they're checking chins. No, I was on the front line. I was willing to go the distance myself. And I'm not speaking highly of myself like I was the craziest vato. No, there was vatos there that would fucking flick me, right? I was just the regular motherfucker mosquito in the motherfucking wind, right? But at the same time, I did have a voice, and my voice was being heard by the gente. So they were like, trip out. You've always showed love. You're from the 209 area. At this time, Fresno was still 209. They were like, yeah, you know, you've always showed love. You're from Merced, home, Central Valle. Man, this is a Vallero thing. What's happening with it, gun? Why don't you come into the fold, Spencer? I wasn't Gun, I was Skinner at that time. Why don't you come into the fold, man, and come fuck with your boys? Why don't you drop the motherfucker, the bird, and put on the collar and become a Bulldog? So yes, I was asked to become a Bulldog, not a Fresno Bulldog, because I wasn't from Fresno, right? But a Bulldog. At that time, the Bulldogs were taking in vatos from other cities, and there were Bulldogs from Sacramento, from Modesto, from Merced. Yes, there was, right? There was Bulldogs from a lot of other cities. Corcoran, Madera, Hanford, Simon, cabrones. Yes, indeed. I'm here to tell you. It happened. And I graciously and quite aggressively declined. I said, fuck that, right? And the reason I did that is because I knew exactly where I was from. I knew exactly how I rocked. I wasn't going to switch up to appease other vatos' feelings. At the same time, that was a hard decision. I sat in that motherfucker pacing all night. Sasuke, should I be a perro? I don't know. Fuck that. You know what I mean? Sasuke, let me see. Yeah, I kind of look like one, but that's because my jaws ain't hang. Fuck. You know what I mean? Those are some good ass homeboys. But at the same time, I remember the homeboy from San Jose said, damn, bro, they turned our back up like that. Anybody can get it. And I said, nah, man, I got love for the San Joneros. I got love for the Sharksteros. I got love for Tulare County boys. I got love for Modesto, Merced, motherfucking Salas, San Fran, Oakland, right? I could have been a pedo, but I said, no, fuck that. Well, got birds up. And I chose to ride with the Norteño cause because that's what I was. That was what was instilled in me. That was where my heart laid. Now, I understand them vatos were like, fuck, we almost had them. We had them where we wanted them, but then we didn't get them, right? But I was offered. You know, I was one of the very few. And you know, I can't sit here and say I was one of the very few because at the same time, they might have been telling everyone that. But I felt privileged and honored to at least been asked the question. That meant my presence was felt, right? But like I said, I quite aggressively declined by saying, fuck you, right? And in that fashion with the capital F and not for Fresno, right? Wasn't going to go that route. And then, of course, I became a target. It's like, okay, oh, my brother, right? They went on some Denzel Washington training day shit. They were like, you going to be in Pelican Bay 23-1, right? They were going to fucking get me. And it was cool. You know, I had a target on my back anyway, so what was new? You know, wasn't nothing new. The bullseye just got a little bit bigger. So I know how to wiggle. I'm still here. But at the same time, man, I'm not going to fucking sit here and say the Bulldogs weren't trying to get at me, because they did try to get at me, and I didn't go that route. Now, I say that to say this. We always, amongst ourselves, when we would throw juntas, we tell war stories and we chop it up, homes. The Bulldogs were always included in the war stories. And quite contrary to what people believe, it was never in a derogatory manner. There were some homeboys from Soho that was like, fuck them guys, bro. They left, homes, they have to reap what they sow. You know, it's anybody can get it time. And then there were some homeboys that said, yeah, but you know, them motherfuckers are going to bring the heat. They bring heat. You know what I mean? And we, oh yeah, we know it. But at the same time, so do we. So there was always that back and forth. Now, I remember going from Nellis to Preston, and in Preston, it was on and cracking with the perros. Not necessarily on site, but there was some friction there, and motherfuckers was getting with the business. Okay, there was some back and forth things. Ultimately, I ended up on Taft because of a melee with the Fresno Bulldogs on a line movement. That's a fact. Actual and factual, right? Look it up. Google it, right? I did a riot, man. I got involved in a melee, to which me and the homeboys took flight on Bulldogs. There were 6 Bulldogs, about 8 homeboys. We flighted them. It went downtown. Julie Brown. Yeah. So now, from there, I'm placed in Taft. Taft being the motherfucking Caja, being the you didn't want, I mean, Spencer, Taft. Tamarack. I'm placed in Tamarack in the oil in press, in a very well-known spot that you never wanted to be in. It was the dungeon. And from there, I get rolled up one day and they tell me, get up, put this fucking paper suit on, roll it up. We're going to Carl Holton. Now, Carl Holton was very different. Of course, the Bulldogs there was a Vato there, Cisco Aguilar, respects to that Vato, man. Him, a lot of individuals were there, well-known Bulldogs. And they were kind of doing their own thing, yet they were cool with the Norteños. It was kind of, it was different. It wasn't nothing I was used to. I was used to guerra. I was used to war. For the last 2 years, it had been war. And now I'm told it's a stand back and let the rhymes tax and let them maintain MCs while that doubly max, right? So I said, fuck it. You know what I mean? In that fashion, I'm going to roll with the punches. I'm not going to go against the grain. I wasn't used to going against the grain and kicking shit off. And of course, for about a year, it was all fine and dandy. The homeboy Cisco ends up leaving, and then a Vato named Chai Boy, I believe he was, from Sanger comes, and all of a sudden, you know, the Perros wanted to act a certain way, and then there was some fights happening, allegedly, okay? Handball courts were utilized, latrine areas were in constant rotation, and of course, the motherfucking cells were cracking. You know what I mean? You could hear boom, 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 boom. Yeah, it was going down. But we always had some type of love in our heart for the Perros. There always was love. They still were flamed up. They still were rocking that F-14 for the most part, most of them. It just was a lot of love. They'd come out their shirts and you'd see them. Some of them still had Norte on them and Well Got Birds. And it was crazy to see that two different groups. It felt like a split. It felt like the NF split, Fed and State. That's how it felt. But it wasn't that. It was 2 different factions were formulated. Now, lately I've been hearing rumors. Simon, I've been hearing rumors that, you know, there have been talks where even some of the Bulldogs have thought about it. So I said, wait, hold on now here. So what you're saying is you're saying the Norteños are willing to take us back into the fold and we are to be embraced, right? Now look, I'm not going to sit here and say the Norteños have initiated these talks or the Bulldogs have initiated these talks, but somewhere along the line, stronger minds have prevailed and thought about this for a long time, and they said, why not come into the fold as the Fresno Primos? You know, why not come into the fold as a primo of the people? Because at the same time, they've always been a distant cousin. Okay, even when they left, so I was like, who are those vatos? That's like the one cousin that you know that's from Alabama that comes to the motherfucking family reunion. Sasuke, you know he's a primo, pero he's with the fine hyena. And Sasuke, she don't count because Sasuke, you're like distant. So Sasuke, she can get it in the bathroom every time. But at the same time, he still is your primo. And there's some type of similarities there. Although a little bit different, he does have buck teeth like you. This is how it was going down. So there have been talks. There absolutely have been talks. And will it ever happen? I don't know if it's going to happen in my lifetime. You know, I'm no longer functioning on either fucking course, so it doesn't really matter to me. I would think that anytime the raza can come together for the people, it's a great thing. Whether it be North and South, Bulldogs and South, Bulldogs and North, it's always a good thing, man. Why can't all gente just get along as brown people, man, and push one movement? That would be great. But at the same time, everyone has pride. Everyone's about what they're about, so it's always going to be like that. But yes, man, the rumors are real. The Bulldogs and the Norteños have been chopping game. There's been a little bit of communication there. So I said, shoot your línea, I said. Orale, who are you? I'm from Fresno Bulldogs. All right, fuck it, homes. La primera lit. They've been shooting it, and líneas have been hooked up. So there is discussion. Now, I know a lot of people are going to be like, fuck, Gun, you don't know what the hell you're talking about. No, Gun knows what the hell he's talking about. Yes, indeed, I know what I'm talking about. Will it ever happen? I can't say yes or no because then I would not be knowing what the fucking hell I'm talking about, right? But I will say that it's something that's been presented and that is on the table and that I think is beneficial for both groups. I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why it's beneficial. It's ugly right now. In the California Department of Corrections, and I've been talking about it for the past week, it's very ugly. It's becoming guerra. It's becoming war before our eyes. It is time for us as a gente people to step up, rise up, man. Go out there, get at these politicians and let them know. So I was scared. No, I call bullshit on what you guys are doing, man. You guys are causing gladiator wars. You guys are causing friction between groups that historically don't get along. Now, I know a lot of people that are involved in prison politics are saying, Sasuke, that's on them. They did the crime. Now they got to do the time. Yeah, do the time, but not fucking go in there and get slaughtered. Not slaughter each other. It's never a good look when the gente are fighting. Shit happens, man. When people get disrespected, they're feeling some type of way, or someone tripped over someone, or someone pinched someone's nalgas. Okay, bam, guerra, war. Do your thing. But just to do it because the administration puts you in certain situations, well, that's an ugly look, man. We can't, as a people, man, let anybody dictate our programs other than the programs that we function up under. You feel me? You get it. So I get it, but I can't say it. Read between the lines. Anyways, I will say this. There have been discussions. There have been talks. Do I think that these rumors are clear, are going to happen? Could it ever happen? It could possibly happen. Do I think it will happen? Charlie, I'm going to say I don't think it will. Not in the immediate future. It's going to take more bodies to drop and people to be put in adverse situations to want to go this route. See, there's a lot of people that don't want to do this because they're under the assumption that it's an old Folsom setup, that Vatos will just take the whole hen house, right? Turn it on you. And in some cases, it could be that. It could be some people manipulating and pulling strings just to get Vatos where they want them, get them all comfortable, and sabes que pico de gallo time, you know what I mean? Pedazos everywhere. But at the same time, it could not be. It could be a righteous move that could be beneficial for everybody involved, that could dispel bodies getting dropped, but at the same time, man, can come back together and branch in union and function under the same bandera. Not necessarily the NF bandera, because you know what that is, man. You know what that entails, man, and only the real ones know how that goes. But at the same time, man, coming together, the Norteno and the Bulldogs can be a wonderful thing. It doesn't mean the Southsiders can't be involved in still some type of fucking end of hostilities. Obviously, man, that's going to stay cracking until they're ready to deem it non-cracking. So it's all good. But why not? Can't you get more soldados on the team to go against these Vatos that pose a threat, which are the non-actives and people that not non-active, you know what I mean? The fucking S&Yers, the Vatos that still think they're active and they function, pero they're functioning under rabbit ears and 2-5ers and everything. And I'm not going to say they're not down. These Vatos are killers in their own right. But at the same time, man, you need to put together an army to go against that aggressive group. And the Bulldogs have always been a very aggressive army in their own right that are down to handle their business. So Sasuke, I see it and I believe it. I see it for what it is, man. The communication is real. I've talked to Bulldogs. I've talked to Norteños that both agree. It could be beneficial. There are some Bulldogs that say, man, I missed the F-14, Holmes. We was motherfucking solid as a rock. Other than Ashford and Simpson. And then there's some Norteños that say, man, they'd be open to that. But at the same time, there are a lot of youngsters and a lot of people that are against it. They're like, fuck that. We don't need anyone, Holmes. We stand on our own. On both sides. And I agree. Vatos do stand on their own, but sometimes it gets lonely at night when it's cold and you're by yourself, right? Why not have some you have adversaries, so why not have some motherfucking Vatos in coordination that could rock the worlds of the Vatos that pose a threat to your safety and security? I'm just saying, though, you know what I mean? But that's me, and I just wanted to dispel any rumors and put it out there. Yes, it's actual and factual. There has been some type of communication there. Will it ever come to surface? Will it ever really happen? One never knows, does one. I guess we're just going to have to watch and see how this all plays out. But yes, man, the Fresno Bulldogs are a very fucking vicious car. The Norteños, man, their motherfucking history speaks for itself. The Southsiders, Sureños, you already know what time it is. They're going to rock, I was about to say irregardless. People hate when I say that word. Regardless of what anyone thinks. And that's just the way it is. The white guys sprinkle them in for flavor. The Africanos, them brothers are doing their thing, man. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with a purpose. I hope that you go out there and you get everything that you want coming to you. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all about you and your familia, man. Why not all come together as a people? We're all brown, right? At the end of the day, well, most of us are. Anyways, with that being said, I hope that you move fast with that purpose. So go get that. It's all good in the hood. If you like this, please hit that like and subscribe. If you don't like me because you think I'm a shady character, I'm out here pushing fucking propaganda and poison, I understand, but I'm not. You can hit that thumbs down. Heavy is the head that wears that motherfucking coronita crown. I'm going to continue to do what I does because I does what I do. And in that fashion, this is the gun. Bang, bang. Damn, imagine if they keep together, so that's gonna be ugly, huh? Bang, bang.